What's up, everybody? This is Dominic D'Angelo, WrestleZone.com. Today's date is November 22nd, 2021, and it is a very special episode of the MLW Fusion Fight Report, as I have a very special guest, and none other than Gnarls Garvin, who will be making his MLW debut tomorrow. It will be at MLW Fusion Alpha, where it took place in Philadelphia. Gnarls, thanks for joining me, brother. Big beef here, huh?
Yeah. Thanks for having me. Sorry for all delays. I'm just glad to be here.
Listen, I think it builds the anticipation. That's what wrestling's all about, is building the anticipation. We kind of did it. We did a shoot version of building the anticipation. So I'm all right with it.
Yeah, me too.
Right? So, okay. I'm just gonna start off asking you. You made your MLW debut in Philadelphia. Was this your first time experiencing Philly? Have you been to Philly before? What's the overall Philly vibe for you going on?
I've wrestled in Philly before. I've been through and I've been around the area probably about 10 times. So it's not too bad being a kid from Kentucky. I never wrestled in the arena, so that was really cool. But to wrestle in Philadelphia proper and to get that, like, to get people to hate you, that's pretty cool. So yeah, it was pretty decent. I've been in and around the area quite a few times, but that was probably the grandest of them all.
I tell you what, that 2,300 arenas, it's quite the experience being there. Whether you're a fan or, I'm sure, as a wrestler, I could only imagine what that's like with the history that's there. And even though the arena itself has changed in a lot of ways since the ECW days, it's still on like Swanson and Rittner, and it still has that identity. So, I mean, being in that aspect, were you an ECW kid at all? Did you get kind of into that? And if so, who were some of your guys growing up there?
Well, I'm only 26, so like,
right.
If I got to watch anything, it'd be like the TNN days, and I didn't even I was barely watching like WWE at that point. That was like what, 2099.
Yeah, like,
so I was like. Mm-hmm. I was like a baby, but like going back and being a wrestling fan, most of my favorite matches have happened at ECW. So yeah, like guys like Jerry Lynn. I really loved Taz, RVD, Rave. You could literally quote. You could just say anything. Like, you say any name from that roster, and they're just really good. And like, yeah, I was a huge ECW fan, but not in the current time that it was going.
Exactly.
Still am a fan. So.
Right. There's so much to be said for how they portrayed wrestling. Like, a lot of it was like cutting edge stuff at that time and very edgy and stuff like that. And I think what MLW has been doing is it's creating its own identity in the way that there's, obviously they don't go the extreme route where, they have some of that stuff, but it's like, it's kind of going the transcendent route of what is old is new again in a lot of ways. Talk about being in that locker room environment. And let's start with that. And then I want to get a little bit more insight how your connection with MLW came to be, like, in a roundabout way.
Okay. Well, so remind me what the first question was. I'm very, very bad. Like, my memory is terrible. So what was the first half?
So the first half of the question was, how did you feel about the locker room dynamic being backstage in the 2,300 arena, and overall the Major League Wrestling vibe just being in the back with everyone and everything like that?
I mean, the locker room is full of really good wrestlers, guys that are very respected and that guys that give and, have a lot of respect. So it was really cool. I always kind of do my own thing because I'm really there just to handle business. I have friends, obviously, but my first time in, I wanted to be as professional as possible and, just check out the landscape and see what's going on. And, I feel like I fit into the equation very well.
Yeah. So how would you say, from a learning experience, did you kind of gain anything that was kind of like a little bit more of like, maybe how an operation is run, like a promotion like this, or certain aspects like that you found really intriguing that maybe you weren't expecting going into it?
Yeah, I mean, I've never really done like a TV style of wrestling product, so it was constantly learning. There's one thing after another. I didn't stop learning the whole time I was there, and I got to learn from some of the best and the brightest brains in the business. A lot of the guys that work behind the stage are just magnificent minds. So it was just a weekend full of just being a sponge and just, figuring my place out and, making my place essentially. So it was awesome. Lots of good people back there.
There very much is. And I think what you're saying too, in regards to just kind of being a sponge in a lot of ways, it's very true. Like I think a lot of, people, whether you're a wrestler or whether you're in some sort of career of anything, like just kind of hanging out and observing in a lot of ways, you learn a lot just being a fly on the wall, basically, and just kind of taking things in. And then, if you have a job to do, you go and do your job. But anything that you gained of just like watching is pretty damn cool itself too. And so I think that speaks a lot. And yeah, like you said, there's a lot of great talents in there, like a Davey Richards being back there, or like you have guys like, the champion like Alexander Hammerstone, Savio Vega, like a diverse group of talents back there. And a lot of guys with different styles too. And something that I was very impressed with watching you. I saw 2 of your matches with Limitless Wrestling. You fought, let me see, Tyree Taylor and Rip Bison. And dude, this was like right in the thick of the pandemic, it looked like. So like there was like barely anybody in the crowd. But what you guys were doing in there, for bigger guys, you were hard hitting, but you also like showed a lot of athleticism. Talk about being kind of like a bigger individual in wrestling nowadays, and going about that style and the dynamic of that changing. Has that kind of always been something you wanted to do, or were you taught maybe starting off as a big man, but then going into like more of an athletic style, or was this just kind of how you wanted to portray yourself?
Well, beginning, I actually started out kind of as a smaller wrestler. I started in the business at 202 pounds.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. And I was not really even trying to wrestle like a junior or anything. I was just trying to wrestle. I just wanted to wrestle. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know the style I was going to go for. As years go on and, like you find loves and passions and like inspirations and other things, you start to tend to like go towards those. And, my inspirations early on were all Japan and Memphis wrestling. So I shifted my style towards that. I've put on some weight, put on some size, and, to be a big guy in wrestling, this is wrestling. So it involves athletics. You can't just go out there and work, like stay in a hold, or you have to keep the fans excited. Cause like the way that NBA is, the way football is, the way everything else, like all sports are fast paced and short bursts. So you have to keep the fans excited, and to be a big guy, you have to do things other than just pummel people. You have to show like, occasional, feats of athleticism. And I feel like I bring all that to the table. So yeah, it's good to be a mobile big man.
Dude, absolutely. And no joke, like seeing how you did a drop kick, I was like, dude, that's like one of the best drop kicks I've seen today, like overall. And incorporating that into your style and stuff, it's got to be pretty rewarding, because like you said, being in bursts like that and being able to and pop that kind of shit out of nowhere, I think it's like it not only attractive to the fans, but I bet it's like very engaging and fun to do as a wrestler too, coming in.
Oh yeah, I started my love for wrestling basically on a trampoline. So to do a drop kick is like my favorite thing. It's like so satisfying to feel that, like when you jump up high enough in there to kick somebody in the teeth.
Yeah.
And then you do a backflip afterwards. There's nothing better. It's like it's my ultimate. It's like I'm the kid on the playground doing backflips, but I can't really do it. So I'm just kicking people and then flipping out of it and not landing it. But like I can do a backflip. That's how I feel. It's like every time I get in the ring and do a drop kick, I'm that kid on the playground.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And so you talked about too, and I think this is awesome, like you being into Memphis wrestling and All Japan. How did you get into that? Like what attracted you? Who introduced you to it? How did that all come to be exactly?
Oh, well, I think I would say honestly, just hearing the history from podcasts and stuff before I started wrestling, and like, just really trying to be I've been trying to get into wrestling since I was like 17, 18 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I did all my homework. I listened to podcasts, I really I invested in like learning stuff before I got in this. So like to hear all the stories about Memphis brawls, and then like the brawls in All Japan, like that Bruiser Brody and Sid Hansen, Terry Funk, Tiger, all these people like that they like, like you hear about it, so then you go and watch it. So I heard about it from like podcasts and like the guys that trained me and brought me up in the business, like the Hooligans and Mikey McFinnigan and Zach Sawyers, like those guys like were like, hey, watch this stuff, man. Like for your size and your abilities, like this is like stuff that will like really, really work for you. So yeah, like guys like that really introduced me to some of the best wrestling I've seen in my life.
Dude, I bet too, seeing guys like a Stan Hansen or like a Terry Funk, and dude, like seeing the interaction, like even just like the body language that you can convey in the ring and stuff like that. There's little subtleties that like you don't see from wrestlers, but you have it where it's like Terry Funk gets those nuts moments where like you're like you look at that guy and like, that guy is nuts. He's gonna fucking kill somebody. And like there's those moments where I see it in those brief 2 matches too, where it's like you take moments to do that stuff. I think the little details are so important. And going into that and having that be a part of your style, I feel like that really plays to the MLW vibe in a lot of ways. Is there certain wrestlers? Obviously, you just started there, but and you've competed with other guys in MLW at this point. We talked off air a little bit, like you just wrestling Davey Richards and stuff like that. And damn, like those kicks in that match, that sequence was amazing. But talk about who's really engaging to you as a wrestler that you got to see firsthand while being in Philly.
I mean, I want to go straight to the top, so I like to face old Hammerstone. I got him on my sights. I got guys like Jacob Fatu in my sights. I want to go straight to the top. I don't want to just go there and be a placeholder. I want to be a big part of what's going on. So, I got my eyes set to the top. I would love to mix it up with anybody. Like you said, I've wrestled Davey. I wrestle him again in MLW for sure. I'll fight anybody. I want to fight everybody. So I don't care if it's in the middle, the bottom, or the top. I'll be there and I'll be fighting as hard as I can.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. So if you had to explain to somebody, like whether they're a new viewer of Major League Wrestling or a new viewer of you, how would you explain yourself as a persona, as a person, as a wrestler to a new fan going into it, being like, hey, what are you all about? Like, how would you convey that to somebody immediately? And what would be their first takeaway, do you think?
Well, in all honesty, I just do a lot of things off of feel and like who and what I am. I try not to like be anything I'm not. I've tried to be characters. I've tried to be this, but I've found the most success just being like me times like 10. But like if it was times 10, I'd probably go to jail. So it's just me. I'm a very, very kind person. A lot of people give me that compliment, but I don't mess around when it comes to like competition. I'm really, really, I'm gunning for the top and everywhere I'm going. Even if I never get there, that's my goal. So, I don't take no prisoners. I'm from a trailer park. I grew up extremely poor, so I've got a humongous chip on my shoulder. And I really just want to go out there and put it on people. I want people to feel the things I felt in my life, and the wrestling ring gives me the platform to do so.
What would you say, like growing up in a trailer park and like having that like development go on? What would you say played a big part in your aspect of becoming a wrestler and giving you that, I guess, drive to do it more? You know what I mean? Where like, what was there a big motivator like of that growing up in that lifestyle that really got you going to wrestler and got you motivated into going into wrestling?
Well, honestly, man, for me, wrestling was like my escape. I grew up like around drugs and a lot of like stuff that like a lot of kids do grow up around. So
right,
for me to get away from it, I would go to like local wrestling and I would watch wrestling, and I'd go play wrestling. I go play wrestling next door. I'd do it with the action figures. I go on the trampoline, like anything and everything wrestling was it for me. So growing up, a lot of times, like I'd find myself at OVW and like watching guys like CM Punk and like just any like I can like Chet the Jet, like just like all kinds of like really good wrestlers. Like I'd get to go watch them. That'd be like my escape. So yeah, just it's always been there for me. It's always been like my cake for the fat kid, if you will.
Right. Yeah. No, dude, there's so much to be said about that. Cause yeah, like I told you too, I grew up in like a small town in Pennsylvania, and there was a lot of drugs and there was a lot of nothing to do in those areas. And so
yeah, like being poor and that being like a really, really like not to say that wrestling like targets like different, like, cause they don't, they really should target like poor people, because when the 80s, that's what they did, and they were like selling tickets for $2, but they would sell arenas out all over the nation. Mm-hmm. So I think that like wrestling, like you know, it really does, like, it's like it's a form of entertainment that like anybody can understand. And like honestly, like growing up and being like in like I don't want to say like a dumber area, but like, you know, like probably not like up, it's a very less educated area. And
Right.
you know, like not so much like people are very easily entertained, and like wrestling is, it's that, you know, it's plain and simple, it's people fighting, it's drama.
It's
So
good
like,
versus evil. You know, it's just
exact,
basic
yeah,
storytelling. Hmm.
yeah. And like for that to like, it was free, it was on cable. So like I don't know, it just grabbed me, and I've been hooked ever since. And it's always been escape, still is. I'm 26 years old and I watch it every single day.
You can't beat it, man. It's really neat to be. I think as a wrestler, how exciting is it to be a wrestler in the business right now, where it's like not only do you have a promotion like MLW, but you have these options to go and do some indie wrestling, or there's just like the aspect of all these other, whether it's WWE, AEW, you name it, like New Japan, like it's just like all these other promotions going on, and sure, some are struggling here and there, and the pandemic obviously played a factor, but it's got to be a pretty exciting time to be a wrestler right now. How do you feel about that overall, like going into it?
I mean, it's great, you know. Regardless if like I had MLW or anything like that, I would still be having the time of my life. You know, I've wanted to do this since I was, like I said, since I can make memories of like anything. Like it's some of my first memories of my life are wrestling. So yeah, to be in it and to be in it this time, and you know, to be in the spot I am, it's really awesome. And you know, if I was a kid, I think I'd be very proud of myself. And not that that really matters to anybody but me, but yeah, I think I'm who exactly I wanted to be as a kid. And that, like, I know it sounds very vain and very like,
No, man, I'm with you.
pompous, but it like I'm very happy about it. You know, like my life's great.
Yeah, to say that, I think uh, a lot of people should have that mindset. I feel like, and a lot of people don't, and that's the unfortunate thing is like, you know, feeling good about where you're going and where you're headed. I think that's a big thing about being successful, and like just having the confidence in yourself and the ability to be like, hey, you know what? Whatever happens, I can persevere through this, or like this is my goal and I have it set. I'm gonna make it. You know, if a lot of people go with that mindset, I think that it'd be very beneficial to them. So I think it's a good way to handle things, man. So
Yeah, I
absolutely.
mean, I come from the bottom. Nobody's gonna believe in like nobody believes in you at the bottom. So if you don't have any self belief at all, you ain't gonna get out from the bottom. So you know, we got to be our own cheerleaders sometimes. Not to toot our own horns, but just to like get us through the day.
Right. Yeah. That's the thing that like fake it till you make it. Basically, a lot of the ways it's like
That's the story of beef.
right. That's it. That's all you got to do, man. Okay, so going there to MLW, being there in Philly, getting your first experience there, what was something that was very impressive to you as a promotion for it? Like, what really stood out to you as how, whether it was like how they execute everything or just in general, what really stood out to you?
Well, honestly, you know, all the big lights and all the amazing sound equipment, and you know, I've been doing the indies for 7 years now, so to see that kind of stage and to see the scale of production, everything was actually really cool, and something I don't think I've ever really been a part of a promotion that's done something like that. I mean, they had pyro.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
they
that is
do.
crazy. Like, you know, like as a little trailer park kid, I wanted to put like Axe spray on top of the panels of it, see how much I can get it, like how much fire could be in that building safely.
Yeah,
I don't know how safe it would be, but like, you know, my little mind was tempted to go out there and play with it. But it was just, you know, it was just like nothing else I've seen yet in wrestling. Like I've seen wrestling like that on TV, but never, you know, experienced it as a performer. So it was cool, you know, like there was like 15 cameras all around at all times, you know. It was different, you know, but it felt like what like I've always envisioned like working for a major, you know, a major company would be. So it was really cool. Uh, I will say that I can't wait to get back to it because just like it makes it feel even more real.
yeah, yeah. It definitely does. Once you get that experience of it, and me, I like, you know, I've been behind the scenes at the Philly at the 2300 arena and stuff like that, and just seeing how it all operates, how motivated everybody is, how focused people are, and like how into it overall as a company it is. It's like, you know, that ship is a tightly run ship, and you can see it from a production standpoint, like week in and week out. There's like consistent storytelling, everything. So like you getting in the fold of it, it's got to be a pretty cool feeling because I like I said this on my show is like you're gonna fit right in with all these guys, like in that mentality of like, you know, the unique style where it's like there's that convergence of like the hybrid style, that amateur wrestling background, the luchador style, the strong style, and then like the brawler, big man, whatever, all that comes into play, and it's neat to see all these kind of matchups potentially come in place. So that's got to be a pretty fun feeling too, to see all these different styles. Are you going to be at the Mexico shows?
I couldn't get my passport in time. No, I won't
shoot.
be there.
Yeah, dang it. Yeah, that's what I was wondering, how many people would be able to do that with with whatever it is, passport, or COVID going on. There's all that aspects coming into it. But you're going to be in Dallas, correct?
Yes, I'll be in Dallas a bunch.
Yeah. Oh man,
we got a lot going on there, so it'll be awesome.
That's going to be a real good time. Von Air country, man. That'll be a lot of fun. Yeah. Holy shit.
Last time I was in Dallas, man, I got kicked out of a bar, man. Somebody threw a drink in my face. It was terrible. I won't even say what I did for legal reasons.
That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. You know what though? I mean, like, heck, when you go into that bar environment, people get nuts. It gets a little out of hand sometimes, and it's Dallas too. Did you like Dallas overall as a city too, like in being there?
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm a Kentucky boy. I'm from the South, so sometimes people think they're more Southern than other people, and I don't care about I guess being more Southern than anybody else. So I'll just leave it at that. It was a good time, but can't wait to be back.
You know what? I wanted to ask you about this. You made a tweet. Now I'm paraphrasing it. Let me see if I wrote it down, because I wrote it down the other day. I thought I did. But you mentioned something about you might not be the most, what is it, Southern wrestler, but you're like the biggest Southern. Can you explain that? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. No, I said that I might not be the best wrestler from the South, but I represent the South better than any other wrestler.
Explain that to me. Yeah. Could you convey that a little bit? I was intrigued by that tweet.
Yeah. First of all, I'm not a racist, and it has nothing to do with that. So Southern wrestling is brawls, it's angles, it's setting up the next match with your match. It's all that, and it's like people want to they scoff and then they shit on Southern wrestling, but man, like Southern wrestling has had some of the biggest draws and some of the biggest houses in all the history of wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
And I have not drawn a freaking dime in this business. I've not made anybody money in this business yet, but I'm learning how to. And I think that the South has a bad name because of like the way business has been done, notoriously like not paying people good money, but a lot of emotion from the fans and from the wrestlers have, like, some of the best has been from the South. And I feel like I can, no matter what, good guy or bad guy, I can make a crowd scream my name in anger or in adulation, and that's something that like you learn in the South. You learn how to wrestle. I started my career in Tennessee basically, and like those fans don't give a crap about backflips and
no.
fancy stuff. You have to go out there and make them feel something. So I think I'm one of the better dudes at like feeling a crowd, like not getting a crowd to like, go crazy, but to fill them, make them angry, just, I don't know. I feel like, not to be cocky, but a lot of dudes don't care about that. They just want to go out there and wrestle.
Yes.
I don't play wrestler. I am a wrestler.
Yes. No, and you said, I mean, like, the perfect example is Memphis. Like, there's a reason they call it Memphis Heat. And there's also, like, you look at guys like Stone Cold, like, he didn't get paid when he was down in Memphis very well, but he looks back on it affectionately and, like, talks about how much experience he got from being under, like, working with Jerry Jarrett and all those guys. And you look at Jeff Jarrett and the wisdom he brings, the crowds that Jerry Lawler would draw with Bill Dundee, Terry Funk coming in there and everything like that. Andy Kaufman, they were on top of things. And having all that kind of stuff, it really speaks. Southern wrestling's a lot of fun. Like,
and it's a throwback to like simple. Like I'm a freak for simpleness. Like anything simple that like I can do, I'm gonna do it because it's easy, it's relatable, and it doesn't go over people's heads. Like like I don't know. I like you said, it's like some of the best wrestling ever is from the South.
Yeah. 100%.
So that's what I meant by that. Like I want to keep that. I want to make wrestling real again. Like I want people to really believe in what I do because it's real to me. Everybody says I have like good facials and stuff because I think it's real. I'm completely treating it as it's real, and every other wrestler should too.
Hey, you believe in it, the crowd's gonna believe in it, and that's where the bottom line lies. Ultimately, like. People, the crowd, fans, they can see right through phoniness. It's like it'll be a matter of time till people pick up on that. They can sense it from a mile away. And if you believe it's authentic, then it's authentic. Because you're bringing the authenticity to it.
Yeah, and that style's coming back. People are longing for like realness. So you see it more and more. A lot more guys are kind of floating towards that style, get more realistic. People want an alternative, and they want something that seems real. So that's what I think the independents are so great.
Right.
We may never make money, but we become people's heroes still. Same way.
I would say too, from an outsider standpoint, doing the independent scene, it has to really, like, not that you're getting rejected or to any form like that, but like it kind of, I would think it would build like almost like a callus, on how you handle things, because you're used to working, whether it's like very little crowds for very little money, everything like that. You are getting your licks in early, like on the business. So like being in the ground up and not being like thrown right into the mainstream vibe of what, like, whether it's like a WWE or whatever it may be, like you've experienced a lot of like pain, heartache, despondency, a lot of that stuff going in. And I'm sure that how much has that played into you, like kind of getting ready for being in the big scene here in MLW and everything like that?
Well, I mean, since day one, practically, I've been on the road 3 days a weekend. There's been exceptions to that, but I've put a lot of work in, a lot of miles, a lot of brain hours, a lot of miles on my body doing this. There's been days where I've worked 5 matches in West Virginia just to get experience. I've worked all kinds of wrestlers. I've worked midgets. I've worked. Sorry, that might be really offensive.
Little people, you're fine.
I've worked little people.
Yeah, you're okay.
I've worked women. I've worked monsters. I've worked skinny as rail. I've worked any and every kind of person there is. So getting to like get on this platform and do it. I'm ready. And like I think it's so awesome because like Steve Austin is one of my favorite wrestlers, and he got his first major break. I think it was like 7 years in. And yeah. I'm here I am 7 years in, and I've got my first break, and I got his mentality, like you give me the opportunity, I'm gonna rise. I'm gonna do great with it. I don't really set a bar for myself, because like I only expect to go up, like I really, I'm on like a mental roll right now. I'm really focused. I'm ready to go.
100%, dude. And you look at it too. Look at when Steve Austin became Stone Cold. He was like 36 years old. So it's like that's what a lot of people consider the prime of people's wrestling careers. So I mean, you being 26, you got time to like not only cultivate that kind of mindset, cultivate a fan base, all that stuff. You got a lot of stuff in your favor, for sure. Is there how from an aspect of working from a smart perspective, where it's like physically smart, where you're kind of keeping in mind, like protecting yourself in a lot of ways, and not taking too many risks. Do you find a certain balance for yourself there while still being able to entertain the fans in a lot of ways?
Well, honestly, that's kind of like beef style is it's all risk. There's no precaution taken. As we were talking before the interview, I split my knee open, like my kneecap completely open this weekend, and just being an idiot. Like I will say there are certain extents I care about my opponent's safety.
Sure.
But we are wrestling.
Mm-hmm. It's
a very physical sport. And if I hurt you, get over it. I've not broke your bones. I didn't beat you up because it was personal. It's wrestling.
Yeah.
So, I will say beef style is a bit reckless, and like to be safe is like, I don't really pay attention to that stuff out there. It's not like a form or a technique. It's just, go out there and give it my all. And I do come back a lot of times with a busted nose, like swollen fingers, like busted knuckles. And it's just because I'm out there giving my all. And I can't do nothing else but that.
Do you find I hear it from a lot of guys too. And like, whether I'm interviewing them or just hearing them on like a podcast or whatever it may be, but I hear from a lot of guys, like, they respect that kind of attitude, like in that mentality of like, hey, you're going in, you're going to hit me hard. That's just part of the game. Like, is that how you, with a lot of your opponents that you go in the ring with, or whether the partners or opponents, do you find that that is a lot of the mindset of a lot of people? What is the mentality of the business like currently with that regard, I guess?
Um, it really it just varies. It's person to person. You know, there's some guys I can go out there and just I headbutt them in the nose and won't hear a single thing about it.
Yeah.
But there'll be a dude that I catch with like a forearm or like a club or something to the back, and they'll complain about the whole night to me.
Yeah.
You know, and I think once the match is over, we it's you know nobody's hurt, everybody's fine. All right, see ya when we drink beers and stuff. If we drink beers together, I do notice like a lot of the more professional guys are way more tough, and they take the licks, but like I don't know. I mean, I never complain because I like it. You know, I like the rowdiness.
Sure.
But overall, you see a lot more stiffness here lately in the wrestling business. So I think more people are getting over it. But there are still some people that will complain to you, and they don't like it.
And you know what? I'm sure that's always been kind of a part of the business to an extent, where it's like, yeah, some people can take it, some people can't. And then, to an extent, those people will either wash out or, they'll survive somehow. But, it's a moment where it's like, okay, yeah, people can take their licks and stuff and move. It's the wrestling. Yeah, people are going to get hurt. It's not ballet.
It's a tough business. Very tough business.
Very tough.
People get hurt very badly in ballet too. They break legs in ballet. So,
right.
I mean, hey, it's rough. I mean, anything physical, I could break my leg going step outside in the morning. There'd be frost on the sidewalk. I could snap my leg right in half.
Yep.
I could do the same thing in a wrestling ring. Mm-hmm. It's all physical, but like you said, like, I don't know, we kind of getting off track and stuff. I just wish less people complain.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it. I do. Absolutely.
Everything tough is like, if life is tough and we complain about it. So I guess I shouldn't really be, dogging on people, but there's no like real malice, No. Sorry if I hurt you, buddy.
Yeah. But we're hitting each other to an extent. So shit's going to happen,
Yep, exactly.
Shit's going to happen. All right. So what I wanted to do was, since Thanksgiving is, and you're going to debut on this Thanksgiving episode here, what I want to do is a little rapid fire Thanksgiving questions with you. And
okay,
so we'll run down here real quick, and we'll see where you lay in your form of celebrating Thanksgiving.
All right, let's go.
All right,
yes, sir.
What is the best side dish?
Best side dish, macaroni.
Okay, you already answered another question, mate. I will get this out of the way then. It's good. I'll know the answer already, but I thought was going to be my most controversial question. Is mac and cheese a legit Thanksgiving side dish?
Yeah, who said it wasn't?
I've heard.
Send them to me directly.
Yeah, I've heard differences. So me personally, I like growing up, I never had mac and cheese, but like growing up, like later on, I hear all over the place people like mac and cheese and have mac and cheese. So
yeah,
and I'm all for mac and cheese, so I'm not against it.
Yeah, no, that and baked beans are my absolute favorite sides. Like, it has to be at every Thanksgiving or Christmas. I'll be cool with either, but both are better.
All right. What is the worst side dish?
Ooh, I'm kind of particular when it comes to Thanksgiving food. I like simple foods.
Mm-hmm.
I've had some weird like casseroles. Sorry. I don't know. I'd probably say like asparagus. Well, like,
that's a good one.
Yeah, I don't get it. At Thanksgiving, like, we're not trying to eat healthy.
No. I tried cooking it up a couple times too, and I'm just like, give me green beans or something.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
That's all I want. All right. How you get your Thanksgiving plate laid out? Do you have your food intentionally separated and segmented, or is it all over the place?
Honestly, I like to put my corn, my mac and cheese, and my mashed potatoes all kind of close to each other because they all just end up getting mixed up.
Right.
So I kind of like, stir those together. Mm-hmm. And then I like to have a roll somewhere close around, like you said, occasional green.
Yeah.
And then on all the meats are kind of stacked upon one another. I like to put my turkey on top of everything because I don't really like I don't mind if turkey has like the flavor of everything else on it, but like ham on the bottom is just like it absorbs all the others, and this ham has so much flavor. I don't know. I think it's not going to mess anything up. So
So you
I always
definitely
prefer
get
my
ham
meats.
with the turkey too.
Oh, I get every meat. Like
Wow.
I even get like I get white meat. I get a little bit of dark meat from both. Like I I don't mess around. I'm a man of many tastes, and I like all the meats.
You got to be well rounded with that. Okay. Oh, if you had to choose though, white meat or dark meat, where are you going?
I like white meat. I really do.
Mhm.
I like it. I think it is just it's I don't know. It's my preference.
Yeah. No, white meat. I'm white meat too. Best pie.
Ooh, best pie. We have a thing. Well, I mean, it's everywhere, but Derby pie. It's pretty good. It's kind of like a Kentucky Louisville thing.
Okay.
Also,
Is that like hot brown? Is that what that is? Kind of like?
no, hot brown is like a it's like a dish. It's like gravy, bread, tomato, some kind of cheese.
I remember having that, and that was pretty good.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
no, it's nothing like that.
Okay.
It's like a lot of pecans, like some like bourbon. It's got
Ooh.
chocolate chips on it. Yeah, it's really good. I like a
Damn.
plain old pumpkin pie though. Pumpkin pie.
You can't beat a pumpkin pie either. I'm a big apple pie guy. A lot of people think that's kind of generic, but I'm like, yeah, I like the apple pie. But
Hey, the classics are the best.
you can't knock a classic, you know?
Exactly.
Let's see. Okay. What is okay? Thanksgiving's done with over. What is the first? How long did it take you to get in the Christmas mood? If you are a Christmas guy, and what movie would you pop in first?
Okay, I'm not too big on Christmas. I used to be kind of like I never really had like we always had Christmas, but it was never like a oh shit, Christmas is coming.
Yeah,
like so
super
much
festive,
like
kind of that kind of thing.
yeah,
Right?
it was never that way. It was just like maybe have a Christmas tree up and like open the gifts maybe a day before. And, like,
Right,
how the hell
yeah.
do we put this tree up? Like it was never really like anything special to us. Like so like my idea of Christmas is just like one day of a year, just like giving to people you love. I think the first movie I put on for Christmas is probably Home Alone. It's a tested classic.
Dude,
You know,
you can't beat that. That's a damn good one.
it makes your soul in the mood for Christmas.
Dude, that baby face turn the old man takes. I mean, one of the best turns in all of Christmas movies, I would say. Like creepy old guy at first, then he comes and like hits the bad guys with the shovel. You can't beat that.
Yeah, I when I was a kid, I even called that. I knew he was gonna. I was like, he's not bad. He's
Yeah.
not bad. He's
He's
just old.
Yeah, he's just old. Don't knock him for that.
It's like Grandpa walks around the house looking evil all the time too, and he's not up to nothing bad.
Right. There's nothing wrong with that. Sweet. All right. Well, what are you doing for Thanksgiving? You spend it with family? You getting that opportunity? What's going on there?
Yeah, I'm actually just gonna hang around the house with Lady Beef, and we're gonna cook up a bunch of food and just fatten up for the winter. Get ready for hibernation season, and then but we will be having our own Thanksgiving together, and christening the apartment. We're moving out come March next year, so this will be our last Thanksgiving where we've been for a few years. So
All
we're gonna
right.
make it special for each other.
Yeah, right. Just enjoy it all you can, and then like life goes on, kind of thing. That's
That's
great.
right. That's right. On to the next one.
Hell yeah, brother. Cool. Well, so yeah, tomorrow, or Wednesday, I will say, is happening. Your MLW debut. I'm excited to see it, man. Philadelphia can't start out a better place, I would say. So
Yeah, and I really hope it happens tomorrow because, like I said, I don't want to make a fool of both.
I
of
know,
us,
right? We were talking about it. I'm pretty sure it's happening. I think I saw it, but if not, it's gonna be happening. So
it will be happening. So still tune in.
tune in nonetheless.
Yeah, no, amazing atmosphere. Good time. Just went in there and absolutely pounded on Bud heavy. Had to make a statement, and I sure did. Had a good time. So regardless, tune in tomorrow to Fusion.
Yep.
It'll be on it'll be on the YouTubes, and you get on there and watch it live and see the Beaster do his thing.
See the Beast are doing his thing. And Bud Heavy, man, he's over with that Philly crowd. So you had that going against you.
Oh yeah, they hated my guts because they love Bud so much.
They love Bud. They love Bud, man. Cool. Anything else you want to plug?
Yeah, just check me out on the Twitter at Gnarls Garvin. You can follow me there. You can follow me on Instagram at Big F and Beef.
Yeah.
You can go find me on Facebook at Gnarls Garvin. Big Beef is my like page on there, and also you can go to my Pro Wrestling Tees, prowrestlingtees.com/Big Beef. And that, I mean, you can't really communicate on there, but you could buy a shirt, and that'd be great.
Yeah, 'tis the season for all that stuff. So
absolutely, there's all kinds of deals going on. I don't have a code in front of me, which I feel stupid for, but I'm sure if you just check around my Twitter, there'll be codes and everything. So go find me there for all inquiries and questions. And if you're bored and you just want to see something stupid on the internet, check me out.
There you go. And heck, I'll put the code in for the article that we do, so you'll be good to go.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, guys. This is Dominic D'Angelo, WrestleZone.com. You can follow me on Twitter at Dominic D'Angelo. You can follow WrestleZone on Twitter at WrestleZone.com. And hey, go to WrestleZone.com for all your wrestling news needs. Plus, check out the MLW Fusion Fight Report, where I recap MLW Fusion every week for you guys. So, Gnarls, thanks for joining me, brother. It's been a good time. I can't wait to see you kick some ass in Dallas as well. So, happy Thanksgiving.
Hey, hell yeah, and thanks for having me. It's been an honor.